Te amo, mijo. Hola, hola. This is your boy Tico Trend. And this topic is going to be on divorce rape and why I don't really talk about it or certain other topics like that on my channel, basically. Um, like I've always maintained, like everything on my channel is based on my experiences, my personal experiences. Either I lived it or I witnessed it or went through it with somebody, basically. So, unfortunately, for a lot of people, I've never actually been or know anybody who's been divorce raped personally. I'm not saying it doesn't exist because I know it exists. Unlike how most people pretend like certain other people's problems or, incidents that's going on with other people pretend like they don't exist. I actually know divorce rape actually exists. I do read statistics and I do listen to testimonies and read stories and, people telling me, and I do actually see the women who actually come out on top from this shit. So no, I actually know it exists. However, I don't talk about it because I don't know anybody personally that was affected by it or like anybody in my life that's affected by it. Because like ironically, everybody in my life who is or was married, well, the people who was married were either the people who was married or widows or widowers, basically. That's the only people that I know that was married. Like my grandmother is a a widow, basically. I'm a widower. Um, but all the people that are actually still in relationships, either they're sticking it out miserably or they're happily married. It's that simple. That's all I fucking know. So I'm not saying, so I don't really talk about the topic because it's not something that I personally experienced in my life or know of anybody who actually personally experienced it in my life, basically. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I know it exists. I see the shit. I see the outcome to the shit. However, I never been through the process with somebody personally or been through the process myself or been through the process with a friend or family member, somebody along the lines of that. I just never been through the process to actually to be, the right hand man or, the person, the go to person to actually help somebody walk through that process, basically. But yeah, like I said, I know it exists, but I never really experienced personally. Because like I said, my channel's basically set up. I basically spit MGTOW red pill shit from my personal experience. And I try to equate experience based on my personal experience. I try to bring the same visceral level of gravity to the experience that it would be for you, basically. Like, a good example of that is all the men in the manosphere who's been divorce raped. I've actually lost my wife, Mina, in a jackknife truck accident, basically. Let that shit sink in. Mina died at like 4. Mina died at like 4:47 in the afternoon. My son Kadir, who was life flighted to Children's Hospital, died at like 11:54 that night. That same night. That is the closest I could come to actually explaining divorce rape to somebody, basically. I literally got raped from my child and the mother of my child and my loving wife, basically. And my unborn child that didn't even have a chance to make it, basically, because she was too small to make it, basically. That is the closest I could come close to like even remotely being divorce raped. One minute you're happy, you're gonna go visit your fucking mom. Next thing you know it, your wife is crushed under a damn truck near the runaway truck pal in Pittsburgh, trying to come through the Fort Pitt tunnels, basically. Let that shit sink in. It may not hurt in the same manner that it hurt for y'all, but having your whole entire life ripped the fuck out of your hands and you could do nothing the fuck about it is a whole nother fucking level of devastation. At least you still got your kids to play with. At least you got at least you could look across at least you could look across the table at somebody in envy. I can't do that shit. That shit was ripped from me. That is the fundamental difference between me and you. That is the closest I can come to being divorce raped. On a spiritual or a metaphysical level, basically. But the irony to that, that's actually much worse than being divorce raped. But I do sympathize with y'all guys. And I know it exists.